Great. So, is everybody able to hear me clearly other than Ranjit and Swati? All right. So let's start our discussion. All right. So let me just open our. Okay. So what are the things do you want me to cover in this session? Okay. Because I would like to keep this as an open discussion, and I take up points and we discuss those things. Okay. So one thing which I wanted to discuss was projects. Okay. So let me take things like what else we could work on by ourselves to build the confidence. That is very good. Okay. So that is I'll take up. And is there a way to set up using VM? Okay. That I'll explain. Anything else? Do you want any clarity on projects? Okay. So more clarity on project. All right, I'm taking it. Okay. So again, this is one more vote. All right. All right. What else? Okay. So a power view for the project. What is power view? Okay. All right. So, okay. All right. All right. So without power view, can you use the, let me, let me try to explain it. All right. All right. All right. So let's just take up these 5 points. Okay. So the first one I would like to take is this. Okay. More clarity on the project. All right, let me go through this problem statement again. Basically, the sole objective of this project is to make you familiar with sentiment analysis. All right. So, to avoid, because most of the candidates do not have too much of time to spend on the project, that is why we have pre-prepared lot of things in order to avoid the hassles. Okay. And this also gives a overview on how to build something as complex as sentiment analysis using these simple queries. All right. So this is an example of how do you do a sentiment analysis. Okay. You could use your own way. There are multiple deviations possible, and some of the deviations are: first, instead of hive, you could use pig. Okay. Second, the way we have computed sentiment is very, very rudimentary. You could come up with your own better algorithm. All right. Third one is you start afresh with a different movie. Fourth is that you could use your own way of downloading data. Instead of Flume, you could use something else, and that could be something as simple as a Python script. Or you could use your own first first step would be try to run Flume. I have not been able to successfully run Flume on Hottenworks for this particular problem. Because the most of the stuff seems to be from Cloudera. In this project, this the jar which I have shared is from Cloudera. So the Flume jar basically, I'm trying to run it, but it is giving Abhinav is also probably getting the same error, and basically it's some sort of a error I'm getting just because of configuration issues. All right. Just because of these incompatibility between the between Hortonworks and Cloudera things. So I'm anyway working on that. In case you, so you might not like to do this, okay, right now, or if you can figure out, it will be great. And let me also know how to actually download data using Flume on Hortonworks. Um, you know, we have a Hortonworks uh, installation. Third is, instead of along with showing the charts, you could show the charts using something as cool as D3J. All right, so is it breaking still? Right, right. So actually, you don't have to write Python script. There is a project on GitHub which which downloads the data. So I'm also trying that out, but I'm first trying to fix this Flume script. All right. In the meantime, you could use Python script for downloading data, and everybody has provided their own way of downloading data from Twitter. Okay. And also, the configuration settings which I'm using for, you can actually create your own application in Twitter. Basically, you just have to fill a form saying I want to create an application, and they will give you an API key using which you can basically uh, download any data. So they generally give a sample of the data, and that is good enough for most of the analysis. All right. So you could create your own API key, an app key, an app ID, and start using that. I'm using my own one, although I have the example which I have shared with you contains the API key provided by Hortonworks, but not Hortonworks, Cloudera, but I'm using my own. You should also use your own in Flume config. Okay. If you open the Flume config, you will see API key, API ID, and all that. All right. So you can go to Twitter. What was the Twitter? apps.twitter.com, and there you can create your own API key. All right, and use that one inside the Flume. I'll show you inside. If you go to sentiment folder, here you will see Flume. Under the Flume, there is a Flume config. This one was from the uh, from Cloudera. This one is ours. This is mine. Don't use this. Create your own. Okay. So I'll just show you. Okay. So here I have mentioned. So here there is a. This is where you can see that the consumer key, consumer secret, access token secret, and all that. So I'm able to download data from Twitter using my own API key, but I'm not able to push that data to Twitter to HDFS. Okay, because of the compatibility as of now. But if you even if you're not able to do it, you can first create this whole tables and then present the data in Microsoft Excel or some other mechanism. All right. Okay, so let me give you an overview. So these are the deviations possible, and you can also think of your own deviation, such as just now we discussed. Create your own Python, create your own program to download data from Twitter. All right. Now, okay. So here we are assuming the data we have already downloaded and uploaded to this HDFS folder. Along with that, we have also created an SQL query for you, an example SQL query for you that you can run anytime, and a Twitter SB, Twitter Twitter's SBI table will contain all the data. Okay, after you finish running this query, you will have this table. So all you did was first located where is the data uploaded, then went through step by step and ran one step at a time from this query. Okay, and also make sure that you create the data in your own tables rather than in somebody else's database. You first create your database, then copy paste one step at a time and from this query and run it from the command line. And at the end of it, when you are successfully able to run this file, the link is available over here. Okay, once you are able to successfully run it till the end, you will have this table. Okay. All right. And for running this, you would require one particular jar which basically understands the JSON format provided, the JSON format data, which is because the data which we have downloaded from Flume using Flume is in the form of JSON. So to load JSON, you will have to do add jar and then you have to do add that JSON survey. Okay, serializer, JSON serializer and deserializer. That package contains those two things. All right. Once you are done with it, till here everything is clear. So- Okay. Okay. So once this is done, next step is you install a Hortonworks Excel driver. This Excel driver basically makes it possible to connect to our Hive over HTTP. Okay. And make sure that in the configuration while you are configuring it, follow this, and at the last stage when you have installed the driver and when everything is done, there is a wizard called configuration wizard. You open that up. In that, mention the host as Hadoop 1. Select the server type as Hive server 2. Why does it break? Alright, so is it breaking still? Oh, hello, hello. Okay, not good. Alright, probably looks like this internet connection just turns off in between. Alright, so Hive server 2 is the server type you have to mention, and then the mechanism should be username and password, and then mention the student as login and password as this and port as 10,000. So what we are doing? We are connecting to Hive server, right? The way we used to connect to our database. We are connecting to Hive server 2 over this particular port, and this is being done through a driver provided by Hottenworks. And afterwards, your Excel will be able to talk to it should be able to talk to the your database which you have just created. Okay, and after this is complete successfully, also remember to mention your correct database here. All right, the other challenges you might face while doing it is, while downloading the driver, make sure that you are downloading the correct driver. So generally that 32-bit 64-bit is generally a problem. So you look at your Windows and understand which is it, 32-bit or 64-bit, and on top of it you understand which Excel are you using. Does your Excel is your Excel 32-bit or 64-bit? All right, so both the things you check and accordingly you download an add-on. If your Excel is 32-bit, use 32-bit driver. If your Excel is 64-bit, use 64-bit driver. All right, once you have done that, the test should be successful, and then click OK. Next is that you will be able to see from Microsoft Query, and click on that, select the driver which we have created in the configuration wizard. This configuration wizard comes from start menu called Hottenworks Hive ODBC driver setup. And after that, once this is done, you can select a table, select the column, then you get the data. Okay, and then you try to present it this way. All right, howsoever you want to present, you can see this here. It shows the sentiment over the chart, over the graph, and it shows you, okay, so you can see all of that. All right, so you can basically, once you're done, just send me the screenshots and that should be good enough. All right, okay. Now that was about the project. Where did we? Yeah. Okay. Now the problem is with respect to the Power View, right? You're using Tableau on VM on virtualization. I may not be able to create the same charts. Yeah, that is perfectly fine, Abhinav. That's completely fine. Yeah, that's not a problem. As long as you are able to talk to Hive, it should be good enough. So, do you have Hive Tableau driver for Hive? I think there is a Tableau driver. Oh, great. Okay, so you can use that one and connect it. It should be good enough. Okay, and if possible, just send me the screenshot of the setup. Okay, in case somebody else is needing that, I'll share with them, right? Or you can share it on the forum saying in case somebody wants to use this, you can use this setup. These are the steps. All right. Now next is, okay, so this is done. All right, so this one let me take up after some. All right, now is this one is also done. Okay, now, yeah, okay, so this is answered, right? I'm having a hard time in getting Windows for using PowerView. In Linux, there is no PowerView. I'm trying. Yeah, yeah. Try to use W. That's good enough. Good. All right. Now, is there a way to set up multiple nodes using virtual machine? Okay. So I would say that that's not a very good idea. Okay. The better thing would be, why do you want to do that? So why do you want to do that? Let me understand it. So, do you have multiple Windows machine and you want to set up cluster? Is that what you want to do? All right. So a better strategy would be, I'll suggest. Okay. For you, if you want to go for the virtual machine, it's actually pretty straightforward. So let me break it into two. So this is first problem, and second would be how to set up virtual machine. Okay. Okay. That is the second question which Seema is asking. Okay. All right. Now, in this case, it's fairly possible. I would say, let's say you have two Windows machine, Win1 and Win2. Okay? You have two Windows machine. On both of them, so step 1 would be step 0 have Win1 and Win2, two machines. Okay? Now, next step would be zeroth step is this. First step would be on both machine install a virtual machine such as VirtualBox. Okay. Second step would be install. Once you have installed VirtualBox, now you have got a software called VirtualBox on both the machines. On both. Okay. Now the next step would be install CentOS or Ubuntu. I would prefer CentOS. Okay. It's equivalent to Red Hat. Red Hat. Okay. So you could install CentOS. That is generally pretty stable. Ubuntu comes with the too much of things, and prefer a server edition. The reason is you don't require the UI. Okay. Otherwise, you will require a lot of memory on both of it. Okay, and here, while configuring, the Win1 should have more than 4 GB RAM. Okay, so VM on Win1 should have at least 2 to 3 GB minimum. Okay, so because we are going to use Win1 for our name node. All right, now you have installed on both machines, both VMs. All right, so let me just make it a little cleaner. All right, so on both machines, we have installed CentOS. CentOS is a Linux version, and it's pretty good. Now the next step is we have decided to go for Win1 for name node and Win2 for data node. Okay, and as well as the general strategy would be install Ambari Ambari server on Win1 on, and let's call their names. Okay, let's give them the name as vwin1 and vwin2. Okay, or we can let's call both guest OS. Anything which is installed inside virtual machine is called guest, and the windows will be called in this case as host. Okay, so C1 and C2 respectively. Now install Ambari server on C1 and Ambari agent on C2. Okay, all right. Follow those instructions. If you go with install Ambari server, so just follow these guidelines. Those are pretty good, and this will actually make you set up everything. Okay, so this is actually a very good one. You should. Okay, so this you can follow. Now once you have installed Ambari server on C1, you will install Ambari agent on C2. Okay, once that is done, you can continue to install more and more things similar to C2. You can create one more machine, C3, and so on. Okay, and you will be able to access C1 from URL. Okay, also while installing a virtual machine, make sure the network is bridged. Okay, so that the virtual machine which is inside appears like a new computer in your network. Okay, so effectively you will have four IP addresses: one for Win1, one for Win2, one for C1, and one for C2. All right, if you mark both, make sure network is bridged on both the virtual machines. All right, that way everything will be, you know. Now once you install Ambari server, Ambari agent, it will ask you what all components do you want to install. Okay, do you want to install Hive, do you want to install this, do you want to install that, and it will install all of that. Okay, and it will give you, after the setup is over, it will give you the UI like this. So you will be accessing Ambari from here. You will call C1, whatever IP address of C1 is there, colon 8080, and that way you can control your Ambari. Okay, so afterwards you will access the IP. You will say in the browser, you will say C1 IP colon 8080. Okay, and then control. All right. While you are setting up this Ambari server using these guidelines, it will also create login password for the root, and you can afterwards you can start adding users to the installation. All right. This is probably the best way to install Hadoop. Okay. Although there is a standard way of installing Hadoop and controlling Hadoop by using etc Hadoop and creating a user account for Hadoop, but the best way is probably using Ambari. That's a more matured way. Because if I have to explain to you the installation of Hadoop without using Ambari, one step at a time, it will probably take me maybe a 6 hour session or maybe more than that. Okay, so Seema's question is, can we install all these virtual machine the same host? Yeah, so let me come back to that one. So what Seema is asking, that's what exactly Hortonworks virtual machine is. They have installed. So C1 will be for your name node, and C2 will be for your data node. Okay, but all of this all of this is movable. You can at the later point of time move stuff around. You can say that you want to move yarn to somewhere else. You see this? Okay. If you want to move yarn from C1 to C2, you can move it immediately. Similarly, if you want to move here, it says move name node, move secondary name node. Okay. So it will move it for you. Similarly, MapReduce, there is nothing because yarn is the one which control. If you want to move the HBase server, okay, restart yarn. No, not this one. Yeah. So HBase active master. Here under HBase active master, you can stop it. Just a second. Yeah, so this HBase is not probably movable. Maybe when we stop it is movable. Zookeeper is not movable, but this one is movable. Okay. Now, all right. So these all things will be automatically installed for you. In case you want to add one more host at later point of time, you can go to hosts and then say add new host. Okay. Say we buy one more server Hadoop to Hadoop 3. You can do that. All right. Also, if you guys are interested, actually, you can buy a server from the host which I have purchased. Okay. Those are not very costly, and these guys just charge per hour basis. Okay. They'll just charge per hour basis, maybe $10 for 2 days, $10 for 15 days kind of thing. Okay. If you guys want, I can give you instance for some time. Uh, but that will be a little costly on me. All right. And All right. So is this clear the way I've explained? So the thing which you should be doing is basically going through this documentation and install Ambari server. Okay. Why I personally recommend Ambari server this setup, because I have tried Cloudera and it was a pretty tough time. Every now and then Cloudera server itself was shutting down again and again, and if I have to add one more host, it became very confusing. All right. Now, how we will create HDFS in cluster using, yeah. So automatically, when you are setting up Ambari, right, it will install HDFS for you. Okay. And it will also install, it will create the name node and data node automatically. And the HDFS will automatically will be initialized. You would not need to initialize the HDFS. Okay, so C1 as well as C2, C1 will act like name node, C2 will act like data node, but you can install data node on C2 as well, C1 as well. Okay, the way we have done here. So we go to host and okay, so we can say that if you want to decommission something, I'll show you that. Services HDFS, and here service actions are there, and under that add a service. Okay, you can see that. So it lets you assign various things. Okay, I'll show you. I think I'm forgetting. Just a second. So let's go to HDFS data nodes, and here actually there was a way to, the way I had done is I had moved on one of the machines on one of the hosts. Basically I'm using the Hadoop one as well for our, okay, yeah, region server and this. Yeah. So basically here you will get one more way to install. If we did not have a data node on one particular machine, you can simply say add, and here there will be a option to add one more data node. Under host, click on your host which you want to have, and okay. So all the host, whatever you have added, will appear under host, and there you go to one particular host and you can add one more service. Okay. So if I can give some other demo, so it's giving only the options which are not installed on a particular machine. Okay. Now Ranjit's question: which one is better, Cloudera or Hortonworks? I prefer Hortonworks because I have tried both and I found Hortonworks less clumsy. Okay, and now Asima's question is, But what is the Hadoop virtual machine? Okay, so Hadoop virtual machine is nothing but a installation with a single node that contains everything on one machine. This virtual machine contains Ambari, the same thing what we are seeing right now. It contains the Ambari in it. Okay, so they installed Ambari on one of the virtual machine, and then on the same machine they added data node also. And after that they configured it to run it on a very low config. Here, the way I have also brought down the memory space, like here, I have brought down the virtual machine requirement to 250 MB. Okay, and so on. Right. So Hortonworks virtual machine is nothing but this, and Cloudera's virtual machine is nothing but Cloudera Manager instead of Ambari. Okay, and with a very low memory footprint. Okay, if your system does not have much memory, you just decrease these memory wherever you see to a lower one. Okay, I've just made it one fourth everywhere. So yeah, so virtual machine nothing but Ambari with data node installed on the same machine plus the memory trimmed down. And if you want to create your own virtual machine, let's say tomorrow you want to launch your own virtual machine of something else, what you need to do is create a computer with a virtual machine and install CentOS, install Ambari. Once everything is done, just export that virtual machine as virtual appliances and then start distributing it. That's all, right? So VirtualBox provides you that option of exporting the whole computer into a file and then you can start distributing it. All right. So that was, so I hope I have answered your question as well. No? This one? Seema, how to set up the virtual machine? Do you need the help? So download VirtualBox, import the virtual machine you download from Hortonworks. And once you're done, that's all. Okay. All right. So we are sort of done here. These steps I'm keeping it aside. All right. Now this one is the important question. Okay. So what all things can we install in this setup? So almost all the things which your Hortonworks provides, plus you can also install more things such as Python, R, you can install whatever you want to install, like a standard setup you can install. Flume also you can install. Okay. The only downside of this one is the Apache Spark will not be there. That one you need to follow a different steps. Okay. The basically what you need to do is you just need to download the first you need to know which version of Hortonworks are you using. Once you are done with that, you should know which OS you are using, and then you go to Spark's website and download a specific version of Spark which runs on Hadoop, that particular version. Once you have done that, everything else that everything else Spark will figure out by itself. Okay. Now next question. Did I answer this particular question? All right. Now this one. So yeah. So so at AWS there are multiple ways to do things. So if we are talking about Amazon Web Services and if we are talking about EC2, Elastic Computing Cloud, there are two different things. At EC2, you can upload your whole virtual machine. and then it will start running there. There won't be much of a difference in our existing virtual machine kind of a setup. Okay, but in case of AWS, they have provided their own Hadoop. Okay, they have provided, Amazon has provided its own Hadoop. So what you need to do is, instead, while you are creating your map reduces, what you so in case of AWS, Amazon provided their own Hadoop, Amazon Hadoop. I have used it once. So what you need to do is you need to download this called EMR, Elastic MapReduce. You need to download their libraries, add those libraries into your Eclipse, add those libraries in your Eclipse and start using that. Oh, they have started supporting Hue also. Nice, nice. Okay, all right. The only thing is instead of HDFS, you will be reading from EMR file system. So mostly, though your logic will remain similar, but the driver application will become different when you are moving your uh, code to Amazon. Also, the library which you are going to use for Elastic MapReduce is going to be different. All right. So those you have to find out from Amazon EMR itself. Okay. Sounds good to you? All right. So basically, you will have to understand EMR, and essentially, you what you will need to do is move from HDFS to EMR file system. Second, in your project, wherever you are using, in Eclipse, the libraries should be from Amazon. Actually, a better thing would be just follow the Amazon EMR. Last time I checked was they have given a full step-by-step configuration. You just download that project, import it into Eclipse, and then you start coding your MapReduce. And once you're done with it, you can run the test cases locally the way we did, and then you can create the jar and upload it to Amazon, and it will start running over there. And then Amazon will show you the detailed steps what's going on. Okay. And similar to Uzi, they also have a coordinator which can keep on running your EMR periodically. So you need to understand the scheduler also. So I'm not sure if they have all the components. Oh, nice. So they say that Amazon EMR can read from HDFS, but I'm not sure where will this HDFS would be. You'll have to host your HDFS. How will it work? Okay. So they have made ported these libraries also. Okay. All right. So most of these companies support all of that. All right. So was I able to answer this question of AWS? All right. So is it very good to use EMR or should experiment with vanilla Hadoop? I would strongly recommend that try the vanilla Hadoop locally. That is far better. Reason being, Amazon will start charging you in case you have written an infinite loop somewhere, and you run it on Amazon, and then it will actually cost you. Okay. And parallel to Amazon, Google Compute Engine is also performing pretty good. And I was talking to few people from Qbol. They told me that out of three guys, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, out of three, the most performant MR MapReduce is from uh, Google. I mean, basically for running the same code, churning the same data, the price analysis from them was Google, you have to pay less to Google, and highest was from Microsoft. Actually, they burnt a lot of money. It was more like 10 times of what Google charged them for the same kind of computation. Okay. But in case of Microsoft, the Hadoop installation is very, very closer to what we have studied so far. Okay. Yeah. So try Google MapReduce actually from Google Compute Engine. Not this one, not this one. Yeah, not this one. Hmm. So this I need to look up. Last time I remember the Google Play Cloud Platform actually provided the container engine, load balance, BigQuery, data flow, PubSub. BigQuery is that SQL-like query where you can run Hive kind of query on large scale. All right, so that I need to. All right, now the last question. Things like what else we could work on by ourselves to build confidence to get into job market. Okay, so there are few things. One, all right, let me also give it a more thought. The first important thing would be actually to run end to end both case studies. Run end to end both case studies. One is Mahat kind of thing, and other is Mahat recommendations, and other is your sentiment analysis. Okay. Once you have done both of this, I believe that you will be actually fairly confident to go for the interviews. Okay. You'll be fairly confident when you go for the interviews, and trust me, the things you guys have learned, that's actually far, far more than what actually most of the professionals would know in this domain. All right. So that's a know that you have learned good enough amount of things. All right. Now, second would be to actually appear for a couple of interviews. Okay. That will give you give you more clarity on what people are actually looking for. Even if you have no interest in the company, try to join them, and that will actually help. Try to interview with them. Okay, let them discuss, let them ask all the questions related to big data. And in case there is something missing, they just come back and do a little bit of search, and you will realize that it's just the terminology difference. Lots of people are using different kind of terminology for the same thing. Okay, and you will be fairly confident after you appear for a couple of interviews. Okay, most of the problems actually we have covered end to end, and this should give you a fair amount of the confidence. In case there is some questions which you, when you appear for these interviews, in case there are some questions which you are unable to answer, just let me know. I'll also look into it whether I can help you in some way. Okay, now the next is, yeah, certifications. To be honest, nobody cares about it. Okay, nobody cares. A good company does not care about certification. There are only few companies who care about certifications. Okay, and I would recommend that if you have choice between two companies, one who cares about certification, other who doesn't, join the one which who doesn't, even if you have a certification. Reason being, the person who is hiring you and he's looking at certification, there are higher chances that that person does not have more talented person than you. Okay, you will be the first big data guy there, and you will not have much of a chance to learn. Right? So I mean, certification is majorly a fraud, as in you go to Hadoop, they will ask the questions which they themselves teach in. If you go to Hot&Works, say you go for Hot&Works certification, they'll ask those questions in the certification which basically they only teach. Okay, what is the name of the driver in that particular configuration? Now, if you haven't attended the training and you are well aware and well confident about the concept, then you will still flunk, and then they'll say that you have to attend the Hot&Works course. Okay, so that's a general strategy of Cloudera, Hot&Works, and other, because they are not college, they are not universities. Okay, they themselves are giving training, they are giving certificate, they're selling the software and all that. So if you study, let's say you study at Cloudera in their classes and appear for Hot&Works certification, there are chances that you'll not perform great, and the vice versa. Even though in industry you will be able to perform pretty well. Okay. All right. So those who are those if you are inclined towards data sciences, okay, you enjoy, okay, and you enjoy the data structure problems, probability, and if you enjoy these concepts, and then you might like to go for a data sciences kind of a thing also, and to build a confidence in To build a confidence in data sciences, you might love to compete on things like Kaggle. Okay, and although our data science course is not up, but the Coursera courses are pretty good. Okay, all right. So, but I would strongly recommend that in case you are looking forward towards data sciences, try competing on Kaggle. In case you are looking for a partner to compete on Kaggle, let me know. I will basically circulate your message to other students. There are few students who want to compete on Kaggle. And yes, Harvard online courses are also good. They're also good. I have gone through few courses and I found the material good. I mean, Megha's question is how long do we have the lab access? Okay. So see, the lab access you will have for few more days, maybe 10, 15 days. Okay. And afterwards we might be changing the password. Okay. But in case in future, if you want to access labs, you want to, brush up something, try something out, you let me know. We will have the access for you for, uh, I mean, afterwards also. Okay. Just keep me updated because uh, we are not so bothered about you using our labs. The only thing is we need to do a capacity planning a little bit. Okay. So just let me know. It should not be a problem. Okay. Just drop me an email and I'll let you know the password in case that changes. All right. And does the videos in my course will get over? No. Your your videos will remain there, but as and when we are doing something, we keep on updating the presentations and slides, and we also update the quizzes and questions. Okay, if we are adding more quizzes, you will get notification saying more quizzes have been added. You might want to try those. All right. And yeah, how shall I go for live projects after this course ends? So because you guys have actually performed pretty good, I've gone through your assignments. So I'm actually pretty interested in figuring out if there is a live course if we can do. So just drop me a separate mail with the few things I want to understand. With respect to live project, what you can do is uh, okay, first is how many hours, because live project I have never I mean because not other people have performed that great. Okay, so if you are interested, just let me know how many hours can you devote. Okay, and what will be your working hours for how many days per day, and for how many days. Okay, and any preference of technology. Okay, along with LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn profile. Okay, all right. Any other topic you want to discuss today? So just drop me an email with these four questions, and All right, low. So let me just put it here. It isn't. I meant to say LinkedIn profile, not LinkedIn. Okay, that's good. That's good, Abhinav. If you are using the Stanford sentiment analysis model, that's actually good. Okay, that's actually better than what we are doing. All right. And also, in most of the big data cases, you will realize that lots of people settle for less, uh, you know, how should I say, a little inferior algorithm. For example, Netflix organized a contest in which they actually gave a $1 million prize for the best recommendation engine. Okay. Now, the guys who won the prize, their algorithm, the algorithm that got the prize, is still not in production. Okay. Reason being, although it gives a better recommendation, but it is not really resource uh, intensive. It gives a better recommendation by 3% or 4%, but it consumes far more compute cycles and is slower. And therefore, and those are the reasons why people settle for little inferior algorithm. Inferior algorithm, but bigger data. All right. So if you are interested in working on the live projects, okay, they share these few things with me, and I have few people who are actually uh, you know want to work on a real life project, and then if something works out, it's great. All right, because some of the people are from the startup background. They want to start up, they want to do some, they have some ideas, and they want to work in the real time. And some people are building variables, some people are building some sort of a tool, and they would like to work together. Okay. All right, so let me know in case you are interested in a live project. Also, I forgot to mention here, I forgot to mention here, for more technically inclined, okay, more technically inclined, I would say that other than keep your LinkedIn profile updated. Okay. Second is you maintain your GitHub also. Okay. Maybe some clone some project. Try to understand. Also, if you are really technically, you are very a little more technically inclined, go for, I mean, the best way of understanding any of the technology was to actually go through their source code. We are living in an era where the source code of every machinery is available to everyone, unlike 90s. So if you want to look into Hadoop, that what exactly is going inside Hadoop, just check out their code and have a look at it. Okay. And probably, and there are lesser technical projects. Say for example, uh, a project like a project like Flume is lesser technical. Okay, If you want to look at the what Scoop is doing, it'll be pretty simple. It's not that complex. All right. So contribute to an open source project that will give you an enormous amount of visibility at a lot of places. Okay. If you wish, you can do that. And the general model of any open source project is that you start with going through the documentation and then test cases, then you'll move up in the hierarchy, and that will bring a lot of notice to you. All right. Other than following up the technical places, I mean technical magazines, these are the few advices from my side. Any other questions to me? No questions? Hello? Okay. All right. So feel free to recommend to your friends in case they are interested in really learning something. And okay, great, great. So feel free to get in touch. All right. And if you have any questions, drop me an email. All right. I'm happy that you guys like the course. And probably I actually enjoyed your course as well because you guys actually worked along rather than being just the audience. You guys actually worked along. That's good. All right. So have a great career ahead and stay connected. Saying bye bye has become a little old fashioned because everybody is lifelong connected. All right. So just drop an email in case you have a question. And all right. Yeah. So although it's a little funny, but I mean, that's what it happens. Now, after some time, I'll see some LinkedIn requests from you guys, and then we'll get connected. And it's not something that just disappears. Okay. And also feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and that way you'll get noticed. All right, then. Bye bye. Have a good time. Okay.